We were wrong. Palpatine is in episode 9. Knights of Ren are back. That's exciting. And KOTOR being made into a film? All this and more on Postcards from the Galaxy's Edge. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Postcards from the Galaxy's Edge. If you're new to the show, how the show kind of works is we broadcast from a different planet, or I'm saying moon, that is in canon. Today, we are broadcasting from the moon of Jedha, which this is news to me because I actually thought Jedha was a planet. But I'm going to hand it over to our navigator, Jerry, aka Canon Junkie, who is going to tell us all about the moon of Jedha.
Thanks, Shannon. Today we're heading for bleak, beautiful Jedha. A small desert moon, frosted by a permanent winter, Jedha is the home to one of the first civilizations to explore the nature of the Force. At one time, a world important to the Jedi Order, Jedha serves as a holy site for pilgrims from across the galaxy who seek spiritual guidance. During the Galactic Civil War, rebel spies Cassian Andor, Jyn Erso, and K2SO visited the moon in an attempt to get rogue rebel cell leader Saw Gerrera to release an Imperial defector who had information about the Empire's rumored superweapon. During this excursion, the Empire tested their planet killer, the Death Star, on the moon, destroying the holy city and dooming the planet to a slow death. So, let's head off to sunny Jedha. It has 9 canon appearances, not including numerous mentions. Shannon, back to you.
Thanks for that, Jerry. And I am joined again by my wonderful co-pilot, Brian. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
So we've got a lot to dive in. I will say I loved the look of Jedha. I'm like you. I loved that kind of, this is where the Jedi, it's almost like Mecca for Jedis. Yeah. That's how I took it, kind of thing. It's this holy city for Jedis. Or now in that, obviously, Rogue One, Jedis are kind of gone now. But yeah, I don't know. I liked that kind of concept, and I loved seeing the Guardian of the Wheels, and I loved Chirrut Inway. And that he wasn't, I think he was the first time we met someone in the films that was strong with the Force that wasn't a Jedi.
Yeah.
He was a Guardian, but that was so cool. And his costume was awesome. And Donnie Yen is just amazing. And I love that street scene where he fights with the stormtroopers. Right. But, so no, I thought Jedha was very cool. But yeah, I did not realize that Jedha is a moon. I want to know sometimes how these because like I said, the show we broadcast from a canon planet. I should start saying canon planet or moon, because we knew Endor. It was the forest moon of Endor. But yeah, now Jedha is a moon. I'm like, what separates a planet and a moon? Because these clearly have atmospheres and things.
We did do one on Concordia as well with Mandalore.
Oh God, that's true. Man, I really have been hitting our moons. Because the planet is Jedha, N-A-J. Yeah, that's insane. But yeah, I'll say what I liked in Rogue One, which I thought was very cool, was seeing the destruction of the Death Star from planet fall. Right. That was quite cool, and even seeing the explosion was so big that it was breaking the hemisphere and going into space. I thought that was very cool.
My only thing is that this is just more of a physics, or if you want to say astrophysics kind of not qualm, but the Death Star got so close to the planet during that scene with the explosion, where it looks like the explosion is actually going to hit the Death Star. That if the Death Star was that close, wouldn't it get pulled into the planet?
Oh, I guess maybe.
I'm just thinking it needs to be a significant distance away from that planet, or even the moon there, so it doesn't get pulled into the moon.
Yeah. That's probably a perspective thing from the visual effects or something that unfortunately kind of ruined
right
that look. But no, that's a very valid point. I do know they make a point Tarkin, that terrible CG. Sorry, ILM buddies, but CG digi double of Tarkin. I know he says we don't need a full demonstration. Like, they make a point of saying a line where it's not its full power, because obviously, a couple days later they blow up Alderaan.
Right.
So I wonder if they purposely did that to go, this is why it's not kind of thing. But I've never thought about that, but you have a very valid point. Valid point.
The other thing is that, like, when I was looking at this, I mean, this planet is a planet that is used for kyber crystals. Like, that's its number one resource. And the thing is that that's what they use to make, like, Jedi use to make their lightsabers. It's also used for, like, the giant mega lasers that the Empire uses, not necessarily just for the Death Star, but for other things as well. And my thing is that they don't need when he says you don't need a full demonstration, I'm wondering if that's because that the kyber crystals are there, and then to make the kyber crystals basically explode, they don't need as much power?
Maybe. And I just realized the shot I'm thinking of where you see the explosion and it goes into the atmosphere, that's actually Scarif, not Jedha. Now that I think about it.
That's Scarif?
Yes, because it's because basically you see Cassian and Jyn on the beach, and then I'm just remembering as the editor in me. So they're giving each other a hug, flashes to white, and then the next shot is from the battle cruiser, the Mon Calamar, or whatever, Admiral Akbar's people, cruiser, and them saying Godspeed kind of thing. Oh, I don't know. Oh God, it's gonna bug me, but I'm pretty sure you see it, that explosion, and I'm also remembering the music. So actually, I think that shot, it's Scarif, but it was still cool from the ground to see. Basically, I love that K2SO is like, there's no horizon because it's just coming at them. Alan Tudyk was so perfect for that. Oh my God, he was perfect. I have to say, the new droids, the talking ones, I mean, they all talk, but the ones where we can understand them. So Phoebe, I forget her name, but she's a British comedian here, and I think it's Phoebe Weller, but I'm not 100%. And Alan Tudyk, they both were perfect casting for that sass kind of thing. So so Alan Tudyk was great. But no, I like Jedha. I thought it was a very cool tie-in, because I guess obviously with Rogue One we weren't getting kind of the Big Mac of the Star Wars films, and that's the Jedi. So I liked that we kind of got the McChicken by getting Jedha. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Jedha is the McChicken of planets. It has its Star Wars Jedi, kyber crystals, but you just don't see Jedi. But I thought it was very cool. But no, I thought, since that's where we are broadcasting from today, thought I would get your thoughts on Jedha and what you thought on things.
Well, the other thing is that the Galactic Empire did take control of them.
Yes.
So if there were Jedi, which apparently the Jedi left before the Empire even got there.
Yeah. And well, this is why I view it as like a Mecca. They don't live there. It's like kind of like almost like a pilgrimage. But sorry, continue.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is a pilgrimage, like, for a holy site. But the thing is like, to actually try and go there while the Empire is harvesting kyber crystals, that would be a very dangerous pilgrimage, let's put it that way.
Pretty much. When I heard that, like, the planet was kyber crystals, I was like, that's it. Oh my God, the Death Star is a giant kyber crystal. How freaking cool is that? That makes sense. And sure enough, that's the direction they went.
Yep.
That was one speculation I actually got right.
Yep.
So, and of course, we love the Darth Vader scene at the end that they added very last minute.
Yep.
That was
No,
amazing.
that was really good.
So it's funny, a little bit of housekeeping first, because bless you, we've been kind of away from the ship for a while because of life and things. But last time we spoke, we were very adamant that Palpatine wasn't coming back. And obviously the teaser trailer for The Rise of Skywalker, or TROS as I like to call it because that's its initials and things, yeah, we heard the cackle around the world. What was your initial reaction when you heard that?
I was like, oh my god. But, you know, it was really funny. I was actually talking with one of my buddies online about like different Star Wars stuff. He lives in Kuala Lumpur, and
okay, wow, yeah, Malaysia,
yeah. He's a huge Star Wars fan, and we was joking around. He's like, yeah, if you want to, because he's a kind of a dark side fan, so he was saying that yeah, if you want to you want to beat the odds and cheat death, you need to come to the dark side, because he was pointing out like Vader and what is it, Sidious and
pretty
Darth
much
Maul, and I was like, yeah, unless you're searching for eternal life, then you die.
Yes.
Because Darth Plagueis.
Yep, Darth Plagueis.
He was the one that was searching for eternal life, but ended up being killed.
Yes.
And not coming back.
Have you heard the interesting theory about that?
No, I haven't.
So, a guy at work, Elliot, which I'm not sure if this is his own, but I've kind of heard something similar, so he might have just also heard it. But basically, Plagueis has think about the root name plague, and like parasite. Basically, Darth Plagueis finds a host. So that's why the Sith are encouraging, strike me down, strike me down, strike me down, and it goes from person to person. So Darth Plagueis went from, I'm not paraphrasing this very well, but like the theory goes, Darth Plagueis then went to Palpatine, and then that's why Palpatine was so adamant to have, you know, Anakin do it. And then when he basically saw Luke and was like, oh, I want the younger model, that's why he was so attack me. And the theory goes that maybe even Darth Vader realized what Palpatine was up to, and that's why he stopped Luke, because he's like, I don't want you to become the next kind of Sith Lord kind of thing. So I'm wondering, I really am not doing this theory justice, I'm so sorry, but yeah, it's almost like a host, kind of like, not quite a
like, it's almost like a possession.
Thank you, that was the word I was looking for, possession. Yes.
Well, this also makes a really interesting theory, because Darth Vader doesn't actually strike him down. He actually just throws him over an edge.
Well, that's true. And yeah, and this is the thing. But I guess apparently in the comics, there was a moment, a Darth moment, or I don't know if he was Darth moment or just moment, that was the Sith Lord that then basically haunted this helmet, and then Darth Vader put the helmet on, and that's how he got kind of possessed, and that's how the Castle of Mustafar came to be. And this is in a
okay.
yeah, and this is in a canon comic that came out recently. And so this has really made me kind of think, what if Palpatine has been in it from the beginning? You know, we have Kylo Ren staring at this helmet saying, show me again, you know, grandfather, the call to the dark, or whatever. I mean, Anakin got redeemed. Like, why would he tell his grandson to show him the dark? Unless it's actually been Palpatine posing as Anakin. Because, I mean, you know, Ben's not going to know what his grandfather sounded like.
Exactly.
And things.
Yeah.
So what if, you know, and that would be cool to then have that kind of tie-in on things. But it was funny, I'll admit, Palpatine is not my favorite character. He's certainly not my favorite character in the game Battlefront 2. Like, just lightning, there's blah. But even when I heard that laugh, was like, oh, we're going there. Oh, crap.
Well, I mean...
But
what I was going to say, the other thing is that that's also a good thing that you don't like him, because that's probably what like J.J. Abrams wants. He doesn't want you to like him at all. He doesn't want him to have any redeeming qualities.
No, that's true. But I mean, I guess I wasn't like in terms of like, ooh, I really want to see him back. Like, I'm happy to see Lando again and things like that. But it was just kind of like okay, we are going there. But I don't think it's fair to be like, oh, okay, in case of emergency, break glass, and it's like, just bring Palpatine in it. Like, I do think there is a very good way in a literary sense that it could work. Because I also feel this is how we're going to basically get the ultimate team up. Because my theory is, and I'd love to hear what you think, is I think Ben goes back to his knights. Now that he is supreme leader, he's going to need his own Praetorian-like guard, so who better than the Knights of Ren? And we have Rey and kind of her band of merry men that, they're fighting each other, but then they almost kind of need to put their differences aside to fight a greater evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen, kind of thing. So, thoughts?
Well, I mean, from talking with that buddy of mine that's in what is it, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia.
Yeah.
He's saying that like Star Wars is in essence a space opera. And being a space opera, that there are two distinct sides of good and evil. Mm-hmm. And very rarely in this kind of operatic scene do you see both sides come together.
Right.
And it's not that I'm not saying that they can't come together or they won't come together, just the stylization would be a weird twist if they did come together.
Yeah. I mean, we had a little bit. I think that's why I absolutely love that Praetorian Guard scene fight in The Last Jedi, because I was not expecting that, like, to be like, oh, and when they, especially that shot when they went back to back, and I was just like, oh my god, I was like a little kid in a candy shop. I was just like, oh my god! But
yeah. Now, there's a few things that I've seen like online with some certain reviews and stuff where people on the dark side have this glinting moment of going back to the light side, like doing something that would turn them, and then ultimately, like, there's more stories than not of them having this fleeting moment and all of a sudden them pushing them over the edge of the dark side.
No, and this is very true, and that's why, I mean, I'm definitely going in with this one too with a very kind of open mind. I think it's interesting because I very much hear some people who are like, they don't want Ben Solo to be redeemed because some people find that very predictable and not a strong choice, when I'm thinking, but they've been kind of doing that from the beginning. Like, there's scenes about him as a toddler with Lando Calrissian in the book, Last Shot. I mean, there's so much backstory has been given about a character to show his humanity. Unlike Vader, which, like, Vader, man, he was the bad guy. Very much like you were just saying, that space opera. To where this, you're seeing his inner struggle in several films. Like, you didn't see... That's why the Vader reversal is a big deal in the original trilogy, because Vader was like, nope, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad. Oh my god, he turned on the Emperor. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time, I also can understand him not being redeemed. So I don't know. I'm going in, like, just with an open mind, and I'm just happy that the Knights of Ren are in it. I'm so happy with that. Like, I really loved how they introduced him. I also have a theory that the Force flashback, or whatever we want to call it, in The Last Jedi.
Force dreams.
Yeah, or some people are saying Force back or something like that. Yeah. I think that section is actually a premonition. Because it's very interesting. I watched the trailer, the teaser for The Rise of Skywalker, which, I'm sorry, that title is a mouthful. Episode 9. When Kylo Ren body slams this guy, Vanity Fair accidentally slipped. I don't know I hope it's not true, saying, oh, Kylo Ren fighting the Knights of Ren. I don't know if that was an accident or they accidentally let something slip, but I was watching it, and the guy he's body slamming is in the exact same armor as the guy in the, like, few frames later. So he's definitely not one of the Knights of Ren, now that we got those beautiful Vanity Fair photos. So I don't think he's attacking them. However, the helmet is very similar to the guy that he kills in this premonition, this force back or whatever, in The Last Jedi to protect Rey. And I don't know, I think it would be kind of cool to almost see that, where you're like, oh, shit, she saw this coming, so you saw the past and the future? Mm-hmm. But, I don't know, because like, even she says, when we touched hands, I saw his future, you know, just the shape of it, but it was solid and clear. That it's like, maybe that's, I don't know. I just, yeah. I'm in speculation nation right now, but yeah. Did you see those Vanity Fair photos?
Yes, I did.
What did you think?
It's hard to say because like it's really funny. Like the concept art for the Knights of Ren was supposed to be based off of the failed designs of Kylo Ren.
Correct.
So it's tough to say because like the scene goes by so quickly, and it's really hard to tell if that's like one of those stylized looks that they use, because it's kind of just a hit, a slam, hits the ground, and then scene change.
Yeah.
So you can't tell whether it's somebody in a cloak or if it's or it's really hard to tell who exactly Kylo Ren is hitting.
Yeah. Well, that's why you have a the loser like me that has the trailer downloaded and going frame by frame. I thought the Vanity Fair photos were absolutely gorgeous. Yep. But I think what people need to take with a pinch of cinnamon is that they're staged. They've never been scenes. They're not photos of scenes being filmed. They are very much posed photos. Like, there's a famous one of Captain Phasma on Takodana. She was never on Takodana in the actual film. There was, I guess, one during The Phantom Menace came out where Obi-Wan and Darth Maul were fighting in Tatooine. That never happened. So I look at these and I definitely take it just kind of as face value. I do not sit there and think, oh, this means this, and oh, this means that, and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just very happy the Knights of Ren. I wish that that poster didn't leak a while back and showing it kind of thing. But have you heard of the art of, is it Kensuke? Kensuke?
Yeah, I was looking at that, and I want to say that it's not a fighting style, but it's from a specific master. Like,
oh, sorry, what it is it's a type of Japanese art where they take pottery that has been broken,
and they put gold in the center of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Now I
know.
Yeah, and it's supposed to, what is it? There's a whole tradition around Kensuke. I know what you're talking about now. I thought you were talking about something that was like specifically in the Star Wars universe.
Oh no, like I'm sorry. No, that's my bad. No.
no, Kensuke. Yeah, it's a like a plate or a pot or something that is like a ceramic base that breaks, and then you go and you use gold filling to put it all back together, and supposedly it's supposed to. First of all, it's supposed to raise the value of the item, but also it's supposed to symbolize whatever is, no matter how broken something is, it can always be put back together.
Yes, and that's why I think it's quite interesting. The style choice for Kylo Ren's helmet is very much, some people are saying, kind of very much reminiscent of that style and things. What I also think is interesting, all the publicity, the teaser and the photos, you don't see him wearing it.
Right.
So I don't know if that means anything, but I don't know. Because I know, obviously, you live in Japan and things, you bring such a wonderful kind of Japanese lore to kind of Star Wars. I wondered, if you had picked that up, or what did your take on that and things were, but
if we're talking about Kensuke specifically, and it's related to Kylo Ren, then that could be something where something that is broken can be fixed.
Yes. I don't know. I think it's quite an interesting, and I like that if that's truly a thing. Like, this whole sequel trilogy is based in definitely yin and yang, and I mean, they really, I feel, more than even the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy, diving into Japanese lore. I mean, you obviously know that better than me because you live it.
Right.
You are in the country. But I just, from the choices like we kind of discussed in the before, like, you know, the way kind of Rey basically poses, or no, I guess we didn't talk about it on the podcast, but like the way she even braces to run away from that TIE fighter was very much, I know this is Chinese, but it just reminded me of that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or you know, that kind of bracing and then running, that whole samurai ninja. Yeah, I'm not describing it very well, but
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that was, so I just think it's very interesting, kind of the direction they're going. But no, what I wanted to also ask you, because I don't understand why this is such a big thing, and you had kind of mentioned this, the Matt Smith thing. Like, I don't understand why people are going on and on and on about, oh, Matt Smith, he's in it, why are they lying, blah, blah. Who cares? Like, I don't, and you had said you kind of wanted to talk about it and mention it, like, I guess, like, there's one channel I used to follow that after a while, unfortunately, their videos started to get a bit clickbaity and was like, oh, Disney's hiding something. And I'm just like, they're not, oh, God, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, well, my thing is that, like, people are saying Matt Smith is in it, but it's a really secretive role, and it's like, well, he's just going to show up as the Doctor. He's just going to show up in the TARDIS of the middle of a, what is it, like a Star Destroyer or a, and then he's going to open the door, walk out, everyone's going to turn and look at him, and he's like, oh, well, wrong place. Okay.
Yeah.
Walk back in the TARDIS, and then all of a sudden it disappears. And that'll be Matt Smith's role in Star Wars.
I guess I don't understand, like, why they're being so secretive about him. If this, let's play devil's advocate. If he's truly in this, why him? That they're kind of doing the whole, oh, tell them you're not in it. They, like, took his name off some website. The man, even Star Wars or whatever, like, but they didn't. Dominic Monaghan is apparently in it as well. But I don't understand. What does it gain? Unless he's playing, like, a young Palpatine in, like, a flashback or something.
Well,
I could see.
The only thing I can think of that could possibly be why his name was put on it and then taken off is during editing. If there was something that it was like a simple flashback with, like, let's just say Palpatine, and it was supposed to show like a younger Palpatine, and Matt Smith was playing that younger Palpatine, and then all of a sudden during the editing process it's like, well, this is going to be way too long, we need to cut something, well, cut this out. And then his part is cut out of the film, and therefore he's not mentioned in the film as being the film.
Yeah, that makes sense, and that is something that did come to mind. Sometimes I just get a bit frustrated about this, there's some conspiracy, or it's like, no, guys, like, I will say, I think now, because people are used to Marvel, where Marvel laid out the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, 4, there was no guessing. I mean, there was always, I mean, every fandom has speculations, but this is just like Star Wars, because no one steps forward and goes, okay, guys, this is what you're getting. We are left to this kind of stuff, which is another topic we'll jump onto in a second. But, like, you know, everyone's like, oh, yep, you know, we're getting a Kenobi series, but no one's confirmed it. Oh, right. Yep, you know, Matt Smith is in it. Oh, no, he's not in it. It's just like a lot of people, like some other outlets, just really take it as, yep, this is what's happening. I'm like, how can you be so certain? I guess for me, I will never do that, because I don't want to be that person that does that, and then I just look like an idiot and kind of go, oh, yeah, no, it wasn't that. But, because, like, one of the things was I watched a video, which, again, this made my ears perk up, as you and I had discussed in the previous podcast, was it has come to light that the woman who's been writing like the Avatar sequels and some other films she's written that I'm sorry has escaped my notes here, is writing a script of KOTOR. And
Yeah.
I mean, like the game you and I love. Now, some people have said, oh, that means we're getting a third series, a third trilogy. And I'm like, well, no, they just said Benioff and Weiss, the guy from Game of Thrones, are the next set of films. And, which, oh my god, 2022, 2024, and 2026. That is one I can't believe. I mean, you know, we've known each other for a very long time. I can't believe we're starting to get in these dates. Like, I feel like I'm in, like, Blade Runner or something with these dates.
Yeah.
But we now know that the Benioff and Weiss are the next set of films, or at least the next one, so 2022. Now, I obviously know things from a post-production side of the film industry, not the development and production side before it gets to filming, but why would you write a script? I mean, unless it's just in the development phase, because that's a big difference, but why would you write a script if it's not going to be a film made for another 6, 7, 8 years? So for me, I'm thinking, well, I think it's going to be Benioff and Weiss is doing the Knights of the Old Republic. We already thought it was an Old Republic film, but now it's going to be the Knights of the Old Republic. I mean, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. I mean, the sheer fandom around KOTOR is absolutely massive. And honestly, it was one of the few games that launched BioWare.
Yes.
Like BioWare became like a household name for video games after the first KOTOR.
Yes.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that they're trying to do their homework. The other thing is that I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to throw it all into one single movie.
Oh, see, I disagree.
No,
I graciously disagree, but yes.
but here's the thing. I can see them doing a trilogy with it, but I fear that they'd throw it all into one movie.
I can see your fear, and I could definitely see that concern. My feeling is because Rogue One did great, Solo, not so much, even though it is kind of getting a bit of an upswing again. People liked the characters and things. Like, I would love to see more of Kira and all the underbelly and things, but that didn't do so well. So I really think they're going to shy away from these single shot movies.
Yeah.
So for me, if you asked me this between Rogue One and Solo, I totally would agree with you. But I think they're very gun shy now, which that's fine. I think every studio, production company, whatever, needs to sometimes reevaluate and adjust and things like that. But I don't, if they are doing it, I don't think they'll do it as a single. However, we will have to see.
I really... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, that's all I was going to say. We'll have to see if they, we'll know by 2022.
This would be another one of those things that I really wish that this, instead of a cinematic production, that this was actually an episodic production, in the sense that they had made it for television instead of film, because there's a lot of stuff to cover in Knights of the Old Republic, a lot of twists and turns, and a lot of different places that they have to go to tell the full story.
Well, yes, and this was my question. Both of us being massive fans of the game, and we've played it a couple times and things. 2 questions. So the first one, do you think they will do an adaptation of that story? Or do you think, nah, they're just going to be in that universe? That's the first question.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, the problem is that the story rights and everything are all owned by BioWare. So, or, well, I should say it's owned by EA, and I know that Disney and EA work together on video games, but it's one of those things where Disney is going to be like, hey, EA, can I get your script for KOTOR?
But here's the thing. Do you think that, though, because it was also developed by LucasArts, which is part of Lucasfilm? That is a very, actually, you do bring up a very good point, because that That is a very good point. Who owns the story of the characters? That's actually a very good point that I don't know if anyone's really thinking about.
Right. So I mean, it all depends on who hired the writer.
Yeah. I actually don't think I would mind if they took the actual story points from the game and fleshed it out into a trilogy. Because I mean, think about it. Oh my God, you know, you go to Tatooine, you go to Dantooine, you go to like Moraban, or Korriban, which is now Moraban in canon, so the Sith planet. Yep. You go to it. I mean, so there's a lot in there, and building that relationship between Bastila. I can't believe there are people who say Bastila. Come on, Cartho Nasty says Bastila in the damn game, but it's like, I don't know. I even the twist. I guess for me, it's like people knew Harry Potter, and they did a bit adjusting from the book to the screen, but this backbone was there. Yeah. And I think I don't think I would mind seeing a film or a series of films with those stories, because I still feel you and I would see something new that we're like, oh, okay. What do you think? Would you still, like, if it kept kind of the story beats from the game but just kind of tweaked it a bit, or would you want them to take it in a completely different direction?
Well, I could see how they could take it in a completely different direction, but the thing is that anybody going into that movie is going to be expecting the story from the game. So it'd be one of those things, like if they called it The Old Republic instead of Knights of the Old Republic.
Correct.
If they said that we're going to do a movie called Star Wars The Old Republic, then people could be like, yeah, they can go on a different a different arc. But once you put the Knights of the Old Republic in front of it, people are like, oh, it's KOTOR.
Correct.
And then if you go into the film, and it'd be like, this is not KOTOR.
Yeah. And you bring up a very good point, because that's why when they said, I mean, people have been speculating for almost a year now that, and I feel it makes sense, that Benioff and Weiss coming off of Game of Thrones, let's take away the controversy. I mean, they build a massive world, you know, bringing a book series to life visually, you know, it kind of made sense. Of course they're going to do The Old Republic, and that's what people were saying for ages. Even insider people, it's The Old Republic. But now you are absolutely right by saying Knights of the Old Republic. That is a completely different context. I still think it could happen, and I would prefer that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I think Revan and Bastila, and I love the droid, because I mean K2SO was K2SO was sassy, but not like him.
Yeah, I was about to say, it seems like you have droids that steal the show like every few years. So you have, what is it? It's SKO, right?
K2SO, yes,
K2SO.
for Rogue One. Yeah.
And then you have, what is it, L1 or L?
It was L3. Yeah.
L3. Okay, so I'm gonna butcher these. K2SO.
Yes.
Steals
we'll just say
Rogue One. L3 steals Solo. And then now you're going to have HK47, which is just going to blow all of them out of the water.
Pretty much, yeah. And wouldn't it be cool if they got the same original voice to do it?
Oh, that would be absolutely fantastic. I just can't wait to hear him just constantly use the term meat sacks.
Oh, I know. Exactly. Exactly. So and I don't think they would bring in parts of the second game unless because I think in the second game you go to Mandalore. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That sounds vaguely familiar. I haven't played it in years.
Oh, I didn't even get to finish it because my copy was like corrupted or something. But I got it on the May the 4th be with you Steam sale, so it's on the list. But I don't think they'll pull any characters or anything. I mean, mind you, there was one character that was with you that she was like this blind former Jedi master, but she actually was a bit more Sith. She was like Dooku. She was evil, but not Sith quite per se.
Right.
But
She was in that gray area between the light
yeah,
and the dark.
yeah, but a little bit more towards the dark than the light. But
Yep.
yeah, so maybe kind of work her in there. But to be fair, I'm just gonna say for people who haven't played the game, I am gonna do a massive spoiler. So if you don't want to hear it, I would suggest kind of skipping forward for about the next 5 minutes. This has been your warning. I think with the reveal of Revan is now this kind of like brainwashed. I don't know if they make him a smuggler pilot or whatever, because obviously you get to usually choose your class. With that, I feel you have to deal with that enough and build that up enough. You don't need another character, because you also have to have Malik in there. So I don't think they would bring her in, now that I'm thinking about it, because it's just too much.
Yep.
Like, stick with Malik and Revan and things like that. So what would be your casting choices for like Bastila? Yeah, Bastila, Karth, Revan. Who would you pick?
For Karth, I would say like Robert Downey would be a good Karth.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he could encapsulate that very well. Revan can be played by anybody.
Yeah.
So like you could like we don't necessarily have to go with like he doesn't necessarily have to be white. He can be black. He can be Asian. He can be.
What about Kit Harington?
Kit Harington.
Because he has that look of I'm hoping he has a bit more acting range, but he has that look of he's the good guy, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh shit.
You see, my thing, the person that I would really like to see play Revan, and this is just my the thing that I just really like to see would be Idris Elba.
Do you think he's too old though?
No. Of course not.
Because like you are right, like he really does bring something, or he could be Malik too, you know.
Yeah, he could. He could be Malik, but I would like to actually see him as Revan, because Revan is technically ageless.
True.
So we don't have to worry about him being like, he doesn't have to be like 21, looking like he's 21, and if he looked like he was 50, that would still be okay.
Yeah. Yep, that would be cool. Oh, I would love for them to keep kind of the flashbacks. You know how like throughout the game you were kind of getting like pieces of the puzzle and things. And then when you had that big reveal, like, can you imagine if they kept it to where like you take the mask off, and just like they did in the game, and takes the mask off and you see him under that mask. That would be that. Yeah, the fans of the game would be like, oh, yes. I'll never forget that. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, shit, that's insane. Like, yeah, that was, I think you and I were, like, freaking out. We were just like,
no.
Got to be kidding me.
Yeah, no, it was one of those things, like, I don't want to say it hadn't been done in video games, but it was one of those things that you spent all of your time, especially like for someone like me, I didn't go dark side in the game right away.
No, me neither. No.
So like you're going full light, and then you realize like you're like maxing out that meter to full lightness, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I guess I was dark side.
Yeah, you're like, oh, oops, my bad.
And I honestly think that was what they were going for.
Yeah.
Like entirely in the game was to make you think like you're this good, kind, like endearing person, and then to find out at the very end that you're actually kind of an asshole.
Yeah, pretty much. And you have to either convince Bastila to come back to the light, or you go both to the dark together. Yeah. Which is funny. I almost actually kind of wanted Kylo Ren and Rey to do that in the sequel trilogy, where because, you know, again, they set them up in The Force Awakens. When she's fighting, she always has more of a dark side fighting style. where he's always calm and collected when he fights. It's just when he's not fighting, he's up in the air, and she's the opposite. So I would have loved it to where they kind of do this crossing in the middle, where he's going more towards the light, and then she's slowly going towards the dark. And I really thought they were going there when Luke Skywalker was like, "You went straight for the dark," kind of thing. But I don't think they're doing that anymore. But anyway, that was, I think, very much a cool kind of KOTOR thing, was you could do that, where it's like, you know, you have this dark character actually go, but this isn't you.
Right.
You're not this kind of thing. But it'll be interesting because, yeah.
The whole choose your quest kind of aspect, or choose your adventure aspect of it was, I have a feeling that they're going to do light side. If they do it, I have a feeling that they're not going to do dark side.
No, well, also because, like, after the game, I mean, there is a kind of Legends story of what happened to Bastila and Revan. Like, he goes in and out of dark and light to serve a purpose. Like, there are times, I think later, they obviously get together, and then they have a daughter, and then something comes up to where he's like, "Sorry, honey, I gotta go back to the dark to sort some shit out," kind of thing. So that is the thing. There is kind of this storyline post-game in Legends and things, but I don't remember what the daughter is called. But I would actually like it if Bastila was played. Did you ever see Crazy Rich Asians?
Yeah.
You know the sister whose, like, husband was cheating?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think she would be a great Bastila, because in some of the art, Bastila actually looks Asian. Mm-hmm. She has a British accent, but some of the art, she looks Asian, and I think that would be really cool. Like, I would like to have an Asian lead character. You know, I think it's time, kind of thing. So I don't know. I think that would be quite cool. I forget her name. It's something Chan, I think. God, that sounds awful. But no, she was great. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she might be too soft to be Bastila, because obviously Bastila needs to be a badass Jedi. But
I'm trying to figure out. Oh yeah, it's her name. Is it Michelle Yao?
No, that's the chick from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. She played the mother.
Yeah, no, she'd also be another good Bastila, I think, at least.
Yeah. I mean, oh my god, she's in that new Star Trek series.
Yep.
And that woman, I think, is like 50-something, 60-something. God, she looks good. Like, definitely, yeah.
No, I mean, I honestly think she'd be good for the role of Bastila as well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, if we're going kind of like in this ageless thing. Who would I see for Karth? See, it's interesting you say Robert Downey Jr., but I guess maybe it's unfortunately, I think, too much of his Iron Man and Sherlock Holmes character. Like, you know, Robert Downey Jr. plays things with kind of this quip. Karth didn't have that quip. He was like this wounded soldier.
Yeah,
you know?
But I mean, the other thing is that every now and then he gets a little bit of kind of a one-liner that's kind of dagger-esque off.
No, that's true.
And I'm wondering, like, if you're trying to find somebody that in passive conversation can throw daggers.
Yeah. Who would you want being the bounty hunter, or not the bounty hunter, the Mandalorian, the former Mandalorian?
Canderous?
Yes.
This is gonna sound really cheesy, really horrible, but I want Dolph Lundgren to do it.
Who's that?
So did you ever see the movie The Expendables?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm trying to think. Rocky IV.
Oh, are you the Russian dude?
Yes.
Oh, how funny. You know, I actually just saw Rocky IV, and I was just like, this whole movie is a montage. There's like maybe 3 scenes where they actually talk. The rest is a montage.
Yep. But no, the guy who plays the Russian in that, I think it's Drago. Drago is his name?
Yes, it is Drago.
I think he would be the perfect Canderous because of his sheer size, his body size, and just the way that he presents himself and how he would would I don't know, just the way his voice, how deep it is and whatnot, it sounds very Mandalorian-like.
Yeah. Do you know, it's funny, while I was thinking of some of the scenes in the beginning of the game, and I was thinking of the arena scene. I almost think Revan needs to be played by someone that has more of a quip. Because, like, I could see the scene where Karth is like, man, we need to sort some stuff out, and you've got Revan, or whatever his code name would be. They're like, oh yeah, I got this. You need almost him to be that cocky, sure one, because Karth is always kind of the voice of reason, kind of like, ugh. Whereas, so maybe even that could be a Robert Downey Jr. right there to be, right. You know, kind of like, man, I got this. But I don't know. I really would need someone who could turn that on a dime and go, oh crap, you're.
Yeah. The other thing is like, for Karth, Tom Hiddleston could do it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
actually.
Sure he could do Karth very well.
Yeah, because I envision how he played the guy in Kong Skull Island. Mm-hmm. Not how he plays Loki, but yes, how he played in Kong Skull Island. That kind of confident. Yeah, no, that I could say that. Mm-hmm. So. Who's the other one? Who plays Spider-Man?
Oh, what's his name? It escapes me. I know who you're talking about now.
It's another Tom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, or is that Tom? That's not Tom Hiddleston, is it?
No, it's not. Tom Hiddleston's Loki. Tom Holland. That's it.
That's it. I knew it was close. I was like, I wouldn't see Tom Holland as Revan because he's too scrawny. As bad as that sounds, like. Mm-hmm. Who would I want as Revan? Someone suggested Keanu Reeves. I do see Revan with dark hair.
Yeah.
Like, just trying to think of all the actors. And I don't think it needs to be people too A-list. That's the thing, like, Star Wars hires people who are just up and coming.
Yep.
So I think it needs to kind of be not these triple star actors, because then it's gonna be like, oh, it's Robert Downey Jr. playing so-and-so. You don't believe they are this person. But, yeah. I don't know. It'd be really cool. I wonder who would play the Twi'lek. You know who could play the Twi'lek? Could be the little one in Game of Thrones. Not Sophie Turner. She played Arya Stark.
Yeah.
Maisie Williams?
Yeah, I think so.
But then she's also such a physical actress that but it would be so cool because think of like the prosthetic makeup and things. That would be pretty cool, but bless her, she is a bit of a petite thing, but no one says that. I forget what that character is, the Twi'lek character, but she has the Wookiee friend.
Yep. Oh, Mission.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So it's being Mission, because I guess Mission is actually quite young in the game. So if we're,
Mission is a teenager.
Yeah, so Maisie actually I think would be quite good at that. It'd be so cool to like see her in the prosthetics. Like, that would be quite cool. So, because that's the thing, like, we know these creators kind of stay within the same pool of things because, I mean, look at J.J. Abrams. He, again, except for like the main cast, he does still hire people he's worked with before. You know, Kerry Russell, Simon Pegg, Dominic Monaghan. I mean, there's people that's like, hey, you're my team, come on down, kind of thing. So it wouldn't surprise me if this Benioff and Weiss, bring people on to, from Game of Thrones to be in KOTOR. But you have to be careful because, again, you don't want people to see those Game of Thrones characters in KOTOR.
Right. Right.
I don't know, it would just, I would think it'd be cool to see something of Legends turned to canon and adapted for the screen. But I do get what you're saying as well, though, kind of wanting those episodes to be episodic. Right. That's why I do hope Because I know one thing, I was going on earlier about things, people speculating and not confirming things and all of that. I do know it has been confirmed there is a third untitled Disney Plus Star Wars TV show.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are saying it's Kenobi. Actually, I would be very happy with that because I feel that would be very cool. So, I mean, I do think they have a lot going on with this Disney Plus.
Yep.
So, but I think KOTOR, with the costumes and the locations and things, I feel it does need a feature film, a series of feature film treatments.
Yeah. See, my thing is that what I would personally hope for is that if they took 45-minute episodes for a TV series, and basically they went from planet to planet in those 45. This, like, you know how you have to travel to a certain planet to travel to a certain location or do something or whatnot. I would hope that they did it like, and even if they named it like, the first planet, Taurus.
Yeah,
and, like,
Taurus.
Second planet, and then they just keep going in order, so you know where the story is based on which planet you're on.
No, that's true. That could work.
So
that could definitely work. And
I think you could tell what's going on in Taurus in 45 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And
how cool would it be if it starts off just like the game starts off, where you wake up and you have that guy come in going, "Hey, we got to get out of here." And, like, I would say
I would open your inventory and click.
Oh God!
Right click on.
It was funny. I finally got it to work for my Star Wars retro game night, and I forgot about, because obviously I'm a console streamer.
Yep.
Trying to do it on a laptop where I'm like, oh God, there's the keyboard strokes where it's W and A, S and X, and I'm like, or no, it's A, D or something like that. I was like, oh my God, it's been ages since I've played a game on like a computer where you have to use the keyboard to move things around and the camera. It was hilarious, but yeah. I was like, ooh. But no, so yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, because anything KOTOR definitely makes my ears perk up, and I always am very keen to be like, hey, I'm very excited. I mean, I'm pretty sure you are, about the Knights of Ren being in this new film. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Oh, I am excited to see what they're going to do with it. So, like, if things play out the way that you are hopeful for with Ren and Kylo, in essence, working together, or both going to the light side, that means that Kylo has to kill all of the Knights of Ren.
Not necessarily. No, I'm almost thinking as like a necessary evil. Like, their numbers are depleted, and so it's like we kind of need. It's kind of like needing bounty hunters. You don't really want to associate with them, but you kind of don't have a choice. That's how I viewed it.
See, but here's the thing, like with the Knights of Ren. So, the Knights of Ren were first. Well, the Knights of Ren's weren't first introduced, but what they're based off of was introduced back in the book called Life Debt. Mm-hmm. And then in the next book, The Empire's End, where they talk about the Acolytes of the Beyond. So with the Acolytes of the Beyond, what is it that in essence turn into the Knights of Ren? They start basically having a cult following for Darth Vader. I mean, there's even one point at one of the planets that they literally draw graffiti on sides of walls saying Vader lives and whatnot after destroying something or like killing a bunch of people. So, yeah. And their whole, I want to say their whole religious order, or their cult, is based around Darth Vader. So, like, the whole concept of them wearing masks, they wear masks because masks, they want to associate their masks with that of Darth Vader. And there's, like, there's this whole thing about, what was the name of the Sith Lord, that basically he slew someone with a mask. Or no, it was somebody that had received a mask of somebody that was killed that wore that mask, and they said they could feel the darkness inside the mask as they wore it, and made them it made them feel as if they turned more to the dark side from that mask. And that was the reason why the Knights of Ren, or shall I say the Order of the Knights of Ren, all wear masks, wear black, as they're basically trying to embody the spirit of Darth Vader.
I see.
So the thing is that they're not Force users, or they're not portrayed as Force users. And because they have this cult following to Darth Vader, when Kylo Ren, in essence, joins them and becomes their leader, it would not be strange for a Sith to be the leader of the Knights of Ren. But not only that, is that Kylo Ren has a direct bloodline to Vader himself. So my thing is
maybe why he ascended to being the leader. It's like, well,
right.
If they're this massive cult of Vader, for lack of a better term, oh god, here is the actual blood-living grandson. Ta-da! Like,
right.
That makes sense.
So, but here's the thing. If he were to turn to quote-unquote the light side, they would see that as a betrayal of Vader. And if he betrays Vader, then he has to kill them. Or they're going to try and kill him, and he has to either kill them, or if, and here's another possible speculation with your side of hope for Kylo Ren. They will try to kill Rey to bring him back.
Yeah, they see her as the threat. She's
Right.
the one that like keeps distracting him, for lack of a better term. And I will say
she's the one that made him become an apostate.
Yeah. I will say there is one that very prominent Knight of Ren that's shown, which I would totally cosplay this. It's a cool, like, vest kind of thing, kind of like duster coat, whatever. He does have a lightsaber. I'm wondering if it's a combination of both. This is really now putting the tinfoil hats on.
Yeah.
So
Super tinfoil.
Pretty much.
Pointed tinfoil hats.
Yeah, very much so. Luke Skywalker, when he's saying about when Ben left the temple burning, he said he left with a handful of his students. So I'm wondering this. What if the Knights of Ren are a combination of both? You have, some of them are the former students, so you have some who are Force users, and then some are from this cult of Vader, and you put them together, you get the Knights of Ren, but then you also get 2 degrees of, you have people who are loyal to the Church of Vader, and people who are loyal to Kylo Ren. And maybe that, whereas might be, Kylo Ren does fight some of his knights, but some of the other knights take his side.
Yeah, there could be internal conflict, but supposedly the whole thing of the Knights of Ren is that it's not like this massive order of like 30 to 50 people.
Oh no,
It's
what you see is that's them. Like that's it.
It's like 7 people.
Yeah, I think it's like 6 or 7, something like that. Maybe 8 in total if you're including him. I'm curious, do you think they all have a name that ends in Ren? So, there's Kylo Ren, which people don't realize Kylo is a combination of Skywalker and Solo, by the way.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you think the other ones are something Ren? Or they just happen?
That would be actually really interesting to see, because that would would kind of solidify this whole Knights of Ren. But my thing is that like I want to know where they get the Ren from for that, because like if they're a cult to Anakin Skywalker, or not Anakin Skywalker, but Darth Vader, like Vader itself and like Anakin Skywalker don't have anything with Ren in their name. Like anything to base that up. I just like to know where the Ren comes from.
Well, I have to double check, because I think people were saying this and I don't know. I think some translations were getting lost. Rey, R-E-Y, obviously in Spanish is actually king.
Yeah.
In Spanish. I think someone was also saying Ren, apparently, is king in a language as well, but I'm not quite sure about that. I don't know if they're thinking Rey and thinking it's Ren means king as well. I don't know. Like
Right.
I'm not sure what it means.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, I understand the Knights of Ren, like who they are, what they do, and whatnot. I'm just like trying to figure out what like the origin of the name is.
I mean, I just looked it up. Ren there is a virtue, it's a Confucian virtue, denoting the good feeling of virtuous human experiences while being altruistic. ALTRUS.
Altruistic?
Yes. What's altruistic mean?
That is like the inclination to do good.
Oh, okay. Whew, that's the opposite of the Knights of Ren.
Yep. Yep. It's one of the things, like altruism. Like if you see somebody drowning in a what is it, like a pool, or you see somebody drowning in a river, you immediately throw off your clothes and jump in to save them. That'd be an altruistic act.
Gotcha. Well, yeah.
Altruistic act.
Can you imagine that they called themselves the Knights of Ren just to be ironic?
I don't think that would be.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But
I can't think of anything in Japanese culture where Ren would apply.
No.
So, it's
I don't know.
Not Japanese.
No. Did you notice that one of them has like an arm gun?
Yes.
I thought that was quite cool.
Right. Wonder if he's Mandalorian.
Maybe. I will. Well, it's interesting. A lot of people have kind of been tweeting that the axe that the one that has his back towards the camera is holding is very similar to the one that's in Dryden Voss's kind of yacht in Solo by the Mandalorian armor. And some people were like, oh, this is a prop used in Solo that's now in episode 9, but actually a really well spotter or whatever, not me this time, said, well, actually, this axe was in the flashback where you see all the Knights of Ren, so that axe was in episode 7 before it was in Solo, and now 9. So I'm wondering if it could be that knight could be Mandalorian.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at the mask itself. I mean, it looks like the mask, one of the like from a Mandalorian like helmet.
Yeah, so. The like the Crusade, not the Death Watch ones, but like the Mandalorians we saw in KOTOR.
Yeah.
The oh god, it's gonna bug me now. I should know this, trying to be a prospective member of the Mando Mercs, but yeah, don't hate me, guys. Hang on. Oops. Oh, what is it? It's like oh, here we go. Come on, baby. Come on, internet. Yeah, it's like, it looks very much like the Neo Crusader.
Yep.
So, I mean, actually, it really looks like the Neo Crusader.
Right. I mean, that was the first thing. When I saw the guy with the gun arm, I'm like, probably a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I love it. I'm very excited, and I wonder what what direction they're gonna go with it. But
yep. Well,
yeah.
I mean, there's the idea where he basically sends them out as a death squad that is supposedly. It depends on how he feels about Ren. If he is basically angered that she didn't join the dark side with him, and he sends them out to kill her.
Yeah.
Or if he tries to join her, and then they feel that he betrayed Vader, and then they have to kill him.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting looking at this photo right now of the one with the gun arm or whatever. The texture is very similar to what Kylo's outfit is made out of.
Right.
And then the one actually behind JJ, you want to talk about very much looking samurai. Like it almost looks like that mouthpiece that samurais have that like show the teeth, or like sorry. And like even that one's very much I'm stoked. Like when I see them on screen, I'm gonna be like, ah.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other thing is that the blade that he's carrying there, that also looks like a type of Japanese axe almost.
Do you know what it made me just think of? I know this is probably a very bad thing to think of, but it made me think of, did you ever see Sucker Punch?
Yeah.
That scene where she's fighting the three kind of samurai titans.
Yep.
One of them has something actually, I think, very similar to that. I know there's one with a longer blade, but yeah, I want to say, yeah. Oh god, I have to look.
Yeah,
it up now,
that looks like a Japanese axe. It's called an ono. But the thing is the blade is a little bit elongated. It's longer than it should be. The handle's about the right length though.
Yeah. Well, I got to adjust it a little bit. Let's see here. Oh, I can't tell, but yeah. That's quite cool as well. So I really am just getting excited and things. But what else did you find in your research of the Knights of Ren, or is that it?
That was mostly it. My main thing is like their origin story is just super interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically they, from what I read, they all do the bidding of Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
So when he says go, they all jump, and they basically do what he tells them to.
Yeah. I'm wondering, because I know some people were like, well, where were they when Episode 8? I'm wondering if it's kind of like what you just said, like, and kind of in my own headcanon, that they're kind of like on outposts of different planets, kind of being his eyes, and now that he's Supreme Leader,
yeah,
they're really going to be his eyes and ears in the outlying planets.
Well, the funny thing was in 8, and this was something that was on the table for doing, is instead of having the Red Guard guarding Snoke, they were going to have the Knights of Ren guarding him. But they said that because Kylo and Rey have to kill basically the Red Guard and whatnot, that they would be, or to kill the people in the room with Snoke, then that would totally go again. Like, it would make a severe plot hole.
Yeah, and even Ryan Johnson said was like, that would also be such a waste.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I am glad they didn't. I mean, I agree. At first, I was like, oh, that would have been cool for them to be the Knights of Ren, but then that would have been like, oh, and they're dead. Yeah. And I think I would have had serious problems with that.
There's only one thing, is like one of them, their helmet, it looks like a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica. That's the only like thing that I have. You have one that looks like Doctor Doom, and another one that looks like a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica. And then we have another one that looks like another Cylon from the newer Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have Mandalorian, we have we have Doctor Doom, old Cylon, and new Cylon.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So
is that guy decked out in thermal detonators?
Which one? The one on the left with the
one that's
gun?
got the one that's got the giant stick, basically. I'm looking at a different picture. So so you see the guy with the staff? He's holding the staff up. Look at his belt there. Are those thermal detonators? Is he on his bandolier there?
Yeah, I would say. Oh yeah, so you're the one where he's like, his left hand kind of has like a blade turned down, and he has like a almost like a mace looking weapon. I think so. I think you are correct, my friend.
Yeah, because the other one that the gun arm guy is carrying there, those don't look like thermal detonators. Those either look like flash grenades or regular grenades, but or whatnot. It could be ion grenades, concussion grenades.
I was gonna say if they're looking kind of like the Battlefront ones, the ones that are longer and silver, those are the oh god, I forgot what they're called now. Forget this part, but yeah, like
but the round ones on that guy's bandolier there, they look like thermal detonators.
They do. I would concur.
So, and like if you look at the Knights of Ren, the page that you from that Star Wars News.net.com.
Yeah.
With the Knights of Ren there, he's got like a whole bunch of them. Like he's like his character specifically decked out in them. So I'm wondering if he is just a grenade lobber.
Maybe. Well, like I don't know where I saw it. where they also, it's like one is, oh yeah, maybe it's this one, like one's like the bishop, one's like they all have kind of a purpose.
Right. They're basically their roles inside the order.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, going back to that article you sent me. Yeah, if you look at the far right hand one that I was talking about that has like the duster looking, if you look at his belt, he's got a lightsaber on his belt.
He's got what on his belt?
He's got a lightsaber on his belt. In the concept art, not the actual picture, because I think he's behind JJ. Like, you barely see him, but...
Right.
He's got a lightsaber on his hilt. But, it's gonna bug me, because, yeah, I thought it was quite cool that, like, one was, like, the mystic, one was the wizard, one was, like, yeah, they definitely had different roles within the order. So...
Right.
That would be cool.
Well, we know who the sniper is, and we know who the we know who the tank is, basically.
Yeah. Pretty much. Well, that is our show. Thank you, Brian, once again for being my lovely co-pilot. Tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me at my Twitch channel at Desperado421, and that's and you can catch me on Discord or Twitter.
Nice. What's your Twitter? Same?
It's Desperado, and then it's Desperad, and then 421.
Okay, that'll work. Cool. And you can find me on Twitter at From Galaxy's Edge, and everything else on Instagram, Facebook, and things is Postcards from the Galaxy's Edge. And you can find this podcast on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course the YouTube video version of this podcast. So thank you much for listening, and we will speak to you guys next time.